Hey, this is Fish on a Heater with Tournament Takeaway. This is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon Go PvP battle and take a walk through it and see what we can take out of it to learn to bring it to future battles and hopefully become better battlers, build that ranking on the Arena Global Leaderboard. Today we are going to look at round 2 of the Go Stadium Sinister Cup tournament. We did round 1 last week, and this one also gave us an interesting battle. So we're against a much higher ranked opponent now. This guy is in the top 1,000 in the world, or at least was at the time of this recording. And I think his name is Mateo7Bro. I think that 8 is meant to be a B, but then what would the 7 be? I don't know. But, so yeah, I'm going Mateo7Bro. Let's say, one of the things that stood out to me about that team is the double fighter. A lot of people, from what I can tell, going with double ghost for this month, but I haven't seen or heard anything about double fighters, which I think is a good move, because Honchkrow obviously being a big one in this cup. The fighters actually do take care of Honchkrow quite nicely, especially so those counters are going to be just tearing shreds off of the Honchkrow, right? If you've got 2 fighters in there, you don't even necessarily, it depends on the situation very much, but you might not even necessarily mind getting hit by a sky attack on the first fighter, because then the second one can come through and just farm down, get up a whole bunch of energy, counter it out before it gets to a second sky attack. So, really interesting strategy. And also, I've got Empoleon and Ferrothorn there, who are Pokemon that are designed to be very specific, counters to very specific Pokemon. And having the threat of double fighter in there makes bringing those Pokemon very risky, especially both of them. I can't bring both of them. One is fine as long as you can, avoid getting it locked in against a fighter. But yeah, definitely can't do both. Alright, let's take a look at the battle. So, we are starting with Primeape versus Dusclops. Now, we talked in that previous episode about Night Slash being so quick. It managed to overcome a Frostlass because it got there quicker than the Avalanches. As you can see here, not the same case for the Dusclops. So, the Shadow Punch comes in before I can get the Night Slash off. So what I did here now, so the Shadow Punch fires, right? And so I can fire the Night Slash straight away, but in the flow of a PvP battle, firing a charge move costs 1 turn or half a second. In that time, the Dusclops fires a Hex. And that Hex keeps going, even though the game stops for me to do my charge move animation. That Hex keeps on going, and once the charge move's done, the damage and the energy register for that, okay? Or, I can, as you can see there, I'm tapping on the screen, not tapping on the charge move yet. So, I've fired off another counter. Hex is a 3-turn move, counter is 2 turns. So, I tap the screen, 2 turns later my counter is completed, I get the energy and for what it's worth, the damage from it. The Hex is still going for 1 more turn. And in that turn, then I can fire the Night Slash. So, the Dusclops, either way, fires 1 Hex and gets the energy and damage for it. But, by firing off a counter of my own first, I get that extra energy and that damage that without the Dusclops gaining anything. So I fire the Night Slash and it goes through unshielded. And now I bring out the Dusclops of my own. Now, I'm going to back that up a bit. You can see I've brought double ghosts there. I have heard this referred to as an unbalanced strategy, which is not intended to be a negative thing, it's just what they called it. I also sometimes think of it as the anchor point strategy. And the idea behind that strat is having two Pokemon that kind of do the same role. They're basically the same type. They're countered by the same things. And then a Pokemon, the third Pokemon, which you have as the lead, beats these two Pokemon's counters. So the Marowak and the Dusclops are both quite hard countered by the Honchkrow. The Primeape can, with a shield, counter that Honchkrow quite nicely. So, say for example, I lead with the Primeape and come in contact with, let's go, the Marowak. I can switch out into my Dusclops, and Mateo might switch into the Honchkrow there. The Honchkrow takes out my Dusclops, and then it's locked in. The Primeape comes in and just does its work, right? And then my Marowak has a pretty good run against the rest of the team. Obviously, that Empoleon on his team is there, which I've got to be very careful of. But apart from that, you know, if he's only brought the one counter, then I'm in a very good position. So I bring out my own Dusclops. The other thing with this is that because I've got such a big health lead here, if Mateo decides not to switch his Dusclops out, then I'm going to win this matchup. But of course he does, and I fire off a 5-punch. And it goes through unshielded. Interestingly, building up a lot of energy there. It takes 4 Snarls to get to a Sky Attack, 5 to get to a Dark Pulse if it's got it, I think 5 to get to a Brave Bird, I don't know off the top of my head, I think it's 5. Up until this point, he's done 6 Snarls. Allows me to get to that second charge move. And doesn't shield it there either. I found that really interesting. Now, PvPoke recommends Sky Attack and Brave Bird as a move for Sinister Cup. I prefer Dark Pulse because just for that sweet extra coverage on ghosts, which are very popular, and also I believe it takes like 5 less energy or something like that. Yeah. I don't use Brave Bird on any of my Pokemon, so I'm not as familiar with it as I should be. But yeah, Dark Pulse is my preferred one, so I've just given away my my move set for the rest of this month if you happen to be facing against me. Anyway, so now I'm faced with a decision. I don't know why Mateo let both of those fire punches through. It was a really unexpected move, I guess. But now I'm faced with this decision. Whatever Pokemon I bring in, I'm only going to have one move of energy to be able to farm from this. So whether I bring in the Primeape or the Marowak, the Primeape gets off one counter, Honchkrow faints, Marowak gets off one fire spin, Honchkrow faints. So I had to work out what would be more beneficial with that one counter worth of energy. I also had to try and work out like what they could have in the back, really. So I've seen the Honchkrow and the Dusclops, so what they've got in the back is going to be a Marowak, Primeape, Empoleon, or Machamp. Now, of those, I think the only one that really benefits from an energy lead is my Primeape against their Marowak. because those Night Slashes hurt a lot, and it's very quick to get to a Night Slash. Machamp against my Alolan Marowak, I consider that to be more of a shield-dependent matchup rather than an energy-dependent matchup, because those Rock Slides are obviously hurting the Alolan Marowak, but it takes a little bit longer to get to, and the Marowak can, do some work with Fire Spin if it's got shields to hide behind. So I decided to bring in the Primeape just because I felt it had slightly more to gain from the extra energy, but really very, very little. So what do we see next? We've still got both our shields up. The Dusclops comes back out. So what can we figure out with that information? They've decided that their Dusclops is better to bring in against the Primeape than whatever they had in the back. Dusclops is a Pokemon that energy leads aren't really what makes it good. Really the only thing that makes it good is its bulkiness. It just takes so long to bring it to ground, right? So the reason they brought it in wasn't just that, if I get an energy lead on this, then I can use that to flip other matchups. It would have just been a matchup thing. Like, whatever they've got in the back, he doesn't want to see that go in against Primeape. So I fire this Night Slash here, then I bring out the Marowak. And they fire that Shadow Punch. And... oh, that's right, they stay in, don't they? Okay, now I use my first shield. I get a teensy bit of lag. And then fire the Bone Club, which is obviously going to finish the job. And out comes Primeape is the other Pokemon. Now, I don't think it was the right move for me to switch into my Marowak, because based on the logic that we've just presented, we determined it was most likely that they would have Empoleon in the back. Now, the fact that we're wrong about that is something to consider, but I still think the logic was reasonably sound. Now, why did they bring the Dusclops in against our Primeape rather than their Primeape? They didn't know what we had in the back. Maybe they thought we had either the Empoleon or the Ferrothorn. They might have thought we had Honchkrow. Actually, yeah, to be honest, our Marowak is probably the worst case scenario for them. Having that Primeape in the back, especially with a shield to protect it, it's gonna... I think Primeape with one shield will beat all of those, except maybe the Marowak. Let's take a quick look at PB Poke here. Marowak, Primeape, and yeah, let's go. We do have a shield each, so the Marowak does win the one shield. If we had no shields left, then what's that? That one there. Yeah, so we're losing that one, but we do have the one shield ourselves to hide behind. Now, what about Honchkrow? I'm going to double check that. Primeape, yeah, wins that one very comfortably. I don't know why it's bothering to throw those Night Slashes. Oh, they do 42 damage. There you go. Learning stuff together. Anyway. So, that's why they brought in that Dusclops. We thought that they brought in the Dusclops because they had the Empoleon on the back, basically. Which meant that, bringing in that Marowak was a really dumb move. Like, if we... I think my original thinking was because we'd already taken out their Honchkrow, I could bring this in pretty safely, and it was highly likely that I didn't see another Ghost counter in the back. If we did see the Empoleon, then we could probably still win the battle, but there would have to be a lot of really clever energy and shield usage there. I'd have to really, really think my way through the rest of that battle. But it would have been better for me just to stay in and try and get like another Night Slash off against the Dusclops or something. But anyway, we did what we did. So we go for the Shadow Ball. And they shield. I was hoping that they would expect the shield bait and not shield, because if they didn't shield, then that would have completely, been a huge blow for them and would have, tipped the scales well in our favour. But no, they did use their last shield. I need to go back and really talk about what happened there, right? Let's come out to the beginning of that Primate matchup. Okay, so we've talked about, this Marowak coming out being a bad move, but it was, I guess, fixed by what I think was a really good move later on, right? So this Primate comes out, and let's slow it down. Oh no, it's already at single speed. Alright, we can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counters, right? Takes 5 counters to get to a Night Slash. I haven't gotten to my Shadow Ball yet. 6, 7, they're still going. So, what does that mean? Why didn't they fire the Night Slash straight away? It's because there is a certain quirk of the mechanics of the game where if you build up to 2 charge moves and fire them back to back, if you do it the right way, or maybe it's just like a temperamental thing, you can fire that second charge move off without your opponent getting in another fast move, which Madio, I'm pretty sure, recognized that this was getting very, very close, and felt that not allowing me to get that extra fast move in would have made a decent amount of difference. So 8, 9, 10, and I'm very impressed with myself that I managed to time that the way I did. So obviously 10 counters is enough for 2 Night Slashes. So that's when they fire the first one, and it lands on the Primeape. And as glassy as Primeape is, it does not take it out. But it now has 2 extra counters worth of energy, so that is, what are we looking at? 49 energy, so it's had 35 left after the first Night Slash, and counter gives you 7 energy, so 35, 42, 49. Alright, so I think we've seen either 3 or 4 counters there, so what does that bring us to? 56, 60, no, me counting, 63, 70, right? So that's, if that is 3 counters that it's thrown, then it's back up to 2 Night Slashes worth, right? I get off the Bone Club. And this was such a... This moment, right? There is just so much going on in that one little moment that could have sent the battle going off in all sorts of different directions. Like, the very last action of the game could have gone in a bunch of different... Well, I mean, two different ways. Either he faints or I faint. But, like, so much is happening, right? So, let's back it up. And let's slow it down. So the Bone Club takes it out to that much HP, right? That Primeape is one Fire Spin away from fainting. It has 70 energy, so it's enough to fire off 2 Night Slashes. I've got a shield, right? So, but it's only one shield, so that Primeape is going to get 1 Night Slash off. I'm going to use that shield, and then it's going to fire off that next Night Slash straight away, right? But were it not for me being able to get that one Fire Spin out before Meteor is able to fire that Night Slash. Well, okay, no. It's not before, it's at the same time, because as we've discussed, firing a charge move takes 1 turn. This is exactly what we were talking about with that Hex versus counter situation at the beginning of the battle, right? It cost Meteor 1 turn to fire that Night Slash, and in that turn, I started firing a Fire Spin, and that move completes after the charge move is thrown. So whatever move you're throwing, the damage and the energy applies the instant the charge move finishes. So I managed to get off that Fire Spin, use my shield. Luckily, I've got more than 1 HP, because even when you use a shield, the charge move will do 1 HP of damage. And then the damage goes through on the Fire Spin. So that was as close as you can get. It actually, interestingly, would have been better, I believe, if Meteor had not thrown the Night Slashes at all. If we bring back the Marowak in this sim, counter does 3 damage. So I don't know exactly how much HP I had, but I'm gonna take a guess, maybe wrong, that 3 damage from counter would have been enough to take me out, where the 1 damage from a shielded Night Slash didn't. So that's a really interesting one. Thank you, Meteor, for the battles, and that is the end of the video for this week. If you liked it, subscribe, and you'll get a handy notification when the next video comes out. I do Twitch streaming of different battles, you know, Silver Arena tournaments, GBL, viewer battles, whatever. That's currently on Tuesday and Sunday nights. And if you do me a real huge favor and share the video around if you like it, because if we can kind of grow the number of viewers who are learning from this stuff, then we can start to do a few more cool things with the concepts, like you know, it's a dedicated Discord server, or you know, getting in. I want to say coaching, but you know, I don't know if I'm good enough to offer my coaching yet. I know some people would disagree, but but yeah, we can if we start growing this channel, we can start, you know, building it into something even better than it is. So yeah, I'll see you next week.